How's everyone doing? It's a bit of a weird one, this, isn't it? All going on. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about stress and how to manage it and introduce you to the philosophy of Harry. And I'll explain more about that today and more as we go on. But before we do anything, I just want you to close your eyes. And simply become aware of your breath. And just the rise and the fall of the stomach as your breath enters and leaves the body. And any sounds, any thoughts come to your mind, just leave them. And just watch your thoughts. See when you're no longer trying to control them, they jump from yesterday back to today, even on into the future. Become a detached observer of your thoughts. Watch them as if there were clouds drifting across the sky. Just settling it, slowing down. Just you and I having a simple conversation to see if we can help each other. Simplicity itself. Open your eyes. Relax. It's a funny one, stress, isn't it? Because everything's a relationship. Stress is no different, and there are different types of stress. Dehydration can be stress on the system, the environment, and lots and lots of things. But what we're going to deal with a little bit today is the mental stress that each of us, including me, seem to be passing through. And part of my philosophy was based around a book that I've recently written called In the Company of Harry. And this has been, the philosophy of this has changed my life, certainly these last 3 years. And I'm going to introduce you to some of the philosophy, perhaps as we progress. So I want to tell you about stress and how it affects the system and what we can do about it. So imagine the brain as a bucket, and all of our life stuff, all the experiences that we go through, begin to fill the bucket up over time. From our incarnation, right through childhood, right throughout life, this bucket begins to fill with all of these experiences, some good, some bad, all of them fill the bucket. And what tends to happen over time is, like any bucket, if there's enough stress in that bucket, it begins to overflow. And it usually overflows into one of three symptoms: depression, anxiety, and anger. And actually, there are hundreds of different symptoms, but we're going to use that as a simple analogy. So when the bucket overflows because of the stress in the bucket, because of our life experiences, which you've all had, usually we go to the doctors with one of those symptoms. You'll get an antidepressant, anti-anxiety drug, or whatever it is that suppress those feelings. But actually, the bucket remains full. So what we need to deal with in stress management and the stress management course that we teach is that we need to look at the bucket and see what's in it. So nature has given us some clues how to deal with that. We have something called Rem Sleep, which most of you have heard of, but actually Rem Sleep in part is nature's way of taking all of the stuff out of the bucket, which is a part of the brain called the amygdala, the fight or flight part of the brain. into a narrative in the form of dreams so we can think clearly. But most people I've ever met with anxiety and depression, including me, don't sleep very well when there's a lot going on. So we're not emptying the bucket. So the bucket continues to overflow. And then we fluctuate because our bucket, sometimes we get good days and bad days, and the bucket remains pretty full. Does that make sense? So everything's a relationship. So stress is a little bit like this, an analogy. Imagine that you're worrying about your family, coronavirus or what's going to happen to them, the future, the money, a lack of money, all these different things that can stress us, our relationships, our work or lack of work, what's going to happen. And eventually what happens is one thought feeds another, until there's no separation between us and the thoughts. And if that story that's played out in the mind is negative enough, then we become sick. That's the truth. Everyone I've ever met, including me, who's stressed and become sick is because on some level we've become involved in that thought process itself. So the first port of call in managing stress management is this: to put some distance between ourselves and the story. Now, everyone I've ever met is an expert in everyone else's problem. So if I go to, say, a friend or one of my sisters and say, I'm struggling, or this is challenging me, or whatever it is, there's a certain amount of detachment, and they can say, Stu, I can help you with this, or whatever it is, or there's an objective view of that. But it's very hard to do it on our own. That's why therapy interaction, a therapeutic situation, is completely different from our family and friends. But what can we do for ourselves? And it's this. It's that detachment from the story itself. So nature gives us a clue all the way along. When we were kids, I don't know about you, but if I fell over and hurt my knee, and I come rushing in with a cut knee, my mum didn't go, ah! She'd say, settle down, son, settle down. So in stress management, that's the lead we need to follow. So when people come, we look at all the different things in the bucket, we list them, and then we say, I'm going to put that to one side just for a while. We'll deal with that in a minute. But what we're going to do first is settle the system down. Remember this? Just that. To put some distance between ourselves and the thoughts. So that's what I thought we'd do. Maybe just see if I can talk you through a little meditation. And you can join in, or you can make yourselves a cup of tea. Whatever you want to do, I've got one. So that's what I'm going to do. So if you want to just settle into a chair or wherever you are and you want to join in, fantastic. And I'm going to talk you through a meditation. I don't know what direction it's going to take, but just see what happens. So I'm going to have a little bit of music on in the background. May turn it off. I don't know yet. We'll see. I can cough here. It's safe. And now you begin to listen to my voice. Close your eyes. And simply become aware of your breath. And the rise and the fall of the stomach as your breath enters and leaves the body. And any sounds, any thoughts come to your mind, just leave them. And just watch your thoughts. Watch them as if there were clouds drifting across the sky. You're just here to relax, to let go of all those things you did yesterday the day before, last week, last month, it's gone. The truth is, the past is there for us to learn from any time. Each of us do. And then whatever you've got to do later on, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, becomes a matter of trust. Perhaps we could learn to place our trust in the divine purpose of our life. But we can be here now, you and I, together, linked on some level, connected. Isn't that amazing? And bringing your awareness back to your breath, beginning to take hold of that thread, and slow your breath down. And if your mind drifts, which it will, just like a naughty child, it tries to get your attention. Bring it back to the rise and the fall of the stomach as the breath enters and leaves the body. That's good. Slowing down. Perhaps just allowing your shoulders just to relax a little more. Your arms by your side. And down through the chest. And down through the stomach. And down towards the legs. And your feet firmly on the floor. Relaxing. Gently. Slowing down. And ask yourself a question. Is everything okay now, here, in this present moment? What about now? And even now? Perhaps we should learn to live moment by moment by moment by moment, second by second. And everything's okay now. Everything's okay now. And bring your awareness back to your breath. And begin to count your breath in. And count it out. And if you lose track of that count, that's fine. Bring it back. Your own time, your own way. That's good. Slowing down. Letting go of the need to do anything except count the breath. And then we can begin to take hold of that beautiful thread. Count it in. Count it out. beginning to change the rhythm. See if you can count it in for 5 and count it out for 5. If that becomes uncomfortable, just go back to your normal rhythm until you're ready to begin again. Count it in for 5 and count it out for 5. And nature gives us a clue. Just from the observation of the breath, we're given what we need in the present living moment. We haven't got to ask or force or chase the breath. It's given at the right time, just when we need it. And I wonder if we could take that wisdom that even nature gives us the clue there. Each of us are given what we need, the right time. No one gets more pain in life than one's constitution will stand. But we can learn to create the solitude within in spite of it all. And that's what you're doing now. Beginning to create some distance from the story, the attachment to the story, the one that's very current at the moment. Let it go. You're not the story. How could you possibly be the story? You're not the thoughts that pass through the mind. You're not the body. You're something so much more than you've been led to believe. And therein lies a spiritual solution. The journey was always about the awareness of your true self. You're not your thoughts. You're not the body. You are pure light. Consciousness itself. Bringing your awareness back to your breath. Notice the breath. And notice the stillness, the quietness created as you begin to step away from those thoughts that pass through your mind. Whenever you're anxious, upset, angry, even depressed, then breathe. And understand even this will pass, always has. It always does, and it always will. But come home. create the solitude within in spite of it all. The connection to this sense of peace is often the first step towards relief. I wonder, on some level, can you begin to feel that sense of relief through that quiet, still veil? Through which peace transcends. This is your true nature and mine. And peace is the greatest ambassador for change in ourselves and others. I wonder, can you rest in that awareness? Quietness, stillness. And in that stillness, you can hear the voice of intuition, your connection to the divinity itself. Always with you. You're never alone. And each day I wonder, could you close your eyes and just go inside and connect just in this simple way to that peace, to that conscious awareness of yourself as pure light. You are the light of this world. That's who you are. And don't let the mind try and convince you of anything else. Through the mass hysteria created and generated. Lay down to rest. Put it to one side. It's safe to do that now. And I wonder if you could use your mind to create a feeling through the stepping stones of the words that you choose to use. And think of someone or something, a situation that you're eternally grateful for. What comes to mind? What can you think of? Who can you think of that you're grateful for? And I want you to bring your awareness to your heart and imagine breathing in that feeling of gratitude through that space and breathing out through that beautiful heart space. Imagine that feeling entwined in light. And breathe it in. Let it fill your whole being with this light. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Imagine that feeling expanding, flowing from your heart, connecting to someone you love in the form of light. Imagine you placing this light with them, and they in turn place it with someone else, who gives it to someone else. Isn't that a beautiful image? And the whole world illuminates, transcends this physical realm of existence. And calmness descends upon each of us. Feeling. Imagine you're hugging it, this feeling of oneness, of connectedness to each other. Imagine you're giving it the most beautiful hug. This feeling. Hold it close to your heart. Feel the reassurance that you're not alone, that we're all connected to each other through this conscious awareness of our true nature. And bathe in that existence. Let it pour through your heart, through your entire body. Illumination of the light. Such peace here. Such calmness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And very slowly, but very gently, coming back into the room, wherever you are, into the awareness of feeling the hands and the feet. And gently stretch your fingers and gently stretch your toes. And when you feel ready, you can slowly and gently open your eyes and relax. There you go. I wanted to read you something from the book. And you can go onto the YouTube channel and listen to all the philosophy but not all of it, but bits of the philosophy, if you wish to. It's helped me out. I've been around the holistic world for close up 30 years. And perhaps I'll share some of the stories about that and some funny ones along the way. But mainly my intention is good, to see if I can help you. So the philosophy of Harry, which I'll introduce you to more and more perhaps as we go along. Let me open the book and see what page opens up, and then I'm going to read you something. Love is the only true healing balm. Apply it where necessary to oneself and others. All disease is an aspect of self that's moved away from love. Choose peace in all situations. Choose peace and apply love. The meaning of this life and all lives is the one back towards love. Great healers have given out of love, and their journey is complete. You too will complete this journey back towards love. And peace is the greatest ambassador for change in oneself and others. Be still and know that I am with you. I started to write this up as a dialogue 3 years ago, but actually it all began 50 years ago. So I'm still trying to understand it, but I would say what's come out of this book, is perhaps the most profound changes for me since I was ill when I was 26, so 31 years ago. You see, we can't go through some experiences and come out the same, can we? Not really. And this one that we're all passing through, we'll all come out slightly different, better for that experience. And on reflection, we'll perhaps discover the whys. But you can already see some good things in it. Look how people are all coming together. We've been told to separate and keep social distance, and yet the irony of that is that we seem to be coming closer together, don't we? Or we have opportunity to. So I just shared a little bit, and I'm going to carry on hopefully every Friday, and you can subscribe to this channel, and I'll encourage you to look at the philosophy. You can buy the book, fantastic. It's not just the book, it's the resonance of what's in it that counts. But you don't have to. You can listen to these audios, or you can listen to some of the philosophy on YouTube as I choose to share it. Whatever's right for you, that's fine. Anyway, my intention has always been good, and hopefully you'll know that. People are not stupid at the end of the day. You and I, we can help each other. I can lean on you, and you can lean on me when I'm able to be strong enough and coherent enough. So the first thing for all of us is to detach from that story. And then we can think clearly. We don't think with the primitive part of the brain. Anyway, I don't want to say too much because I would rather just leave you in whatever space you've created for yourselves. And then hopefully you can join me again. So I'm Stuart, and we've been in the company of Harry, because Harry metaphorically is everything. The whole energy around us is Harry. There's more to it than that, but essentially it's along them lines. So it looks like it's a beautiful day, and so if you've got a garden and a dog you want to walk, or whatever you're going to do, or you can always ring someone, and you can always ring us, whatever you want to do. Stay safe. See you later, folks.